Hello, I'm ABX2Cat and welcome back to our second channel video. Today I have some more Geography of Toycat. It's everyone's favourite second channel geography series, hopefully anyway. And today we're going to be talking about something that comes up a lot, and that is the fact that every country has a different view on the world. And this is kind of where a lot of geography and fun stuff comes from, because basically every country has a different view on what is considered a country, but also on what is considered a border. A border should be a really simple thing between two countries. It should be like, yeah, when you go to the border between Lithuania and Poland, like right here, this is where Lithuania ends, this is where Poland begins. And for the most part, borders are that in the world. They are a really easy way to just work out where one country ends, where one country begins. If you're right over here, for instance, you're in Poland. As soon as you drive further down the road, though, you end up in Lithuania. Very simple stuff, right? Nice and easy. Oh, borders are just the thing between countries. Isn't that nice? Well, it's not quite that simple because, again, that's when two countries can get along and can agree where their countries start and end. However, as you might know, there's a lot of countries in the world, and not all of those countries get on, so you end up with a lot of weird places where the border isn't clearly defined and where both countries believe they own some land, but also, more interesting to me, which I'll be showing all off for today's video, places in the world where multiple countries have different views on borders, which mean that no land is claimed, and that means officially someone could go there and claim that as their own country because it's currently not claimed by anyone. So yeah, would you like to start your own country? Today I'm going to be telling you where you can do it. It's not in all the best places, but you know, you'll start a country somewhere. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about in this video. Countries that aren't claimed by anyone, but also countries that are claimed by multiple people, and some of the weird stuff with that. And in case you're curious, by the way, as to what I mean by countries claimed by multiple people, like how can a country be two countries at once? Think about the island of Korea. So after the Korean War, with the big split and all that stuff, both North Korea and South Korea believe themselves to be the true government of Korea, and it means there's this bizarre situation where they both believe they own the entire island, they just both believe they're in control of their current half of it. So even though the border is very effective, and even though they don't realistically, they're not going to realistically end up with control of each other, you can see what I mean as to they both believe they own the island, or the peninsula, sorry, but you know, they only both have access to half, and this happens in quite a few places in the world. The biggest and craziest one, by the way, every single time this does happen, with a few exceptions, you will end up with a jaggedy border on Google Maps, because that's what I use for this whole thing. So, you know, right here you can see, there's most of them are in Africa, because as you can see, one over there, one over there, one over there. Lots of dash borders to show that it's not really officially recognized by everyone, because when there's a dispute, whose side do you go with? It's sometimes just like, oh, international recognition, what about control, what about all these other things? And this is where one of the biggest nightmares of a border dispute comes into play, because the India-China-Pakistan border is really quite confusing, you know, because obviously India and Pakistan used to be part of a unified country. When they split, things get confusing, and basically you have areas where both India and China believe they control, where areas where both Pakistan and China believe they control, and areas where all three countries believe they have some control, and it's just a mess. Look at these dashes and their their overlappingness. It's confusing, and just that. Also, one of the borders doesn't even go to the edge, because Pakistan, I believe, yeah, Pakistan's control believes it just goes somewhere to there, and then they just shrug at the rest. It's very confusing stuff. And the one last one I kind of wanted to show while we're talking about borders where multiple countries believe they own it is Antarctica, because even though Antarctica is officially owned by no one, there's a big treaty on Antarctica that I believe every country just said they'll cede their claims. It doesn't mean that every country did cede their claims, because there was a kind of subsection on the contract. And here's who Antarctica is owned by. Because, by the way, even though Antarctica looks like this in the map, if you look at it from an actual viewpoint, like land, it looks like this. So, yeah, here are all the claims of Antarctica. A lot of them are quite easy to understand. You've got Norway up here, you've got France over here, mostly not overlapped by anyone else. Sorry, you got Australia over here, sorry, which has a weird kind of gap here where France just kind of sneakily fits in. Not sure why that is. Maybe Australia's being nice and just letting them in. Then you got New Zealand over here with this blue section, and then you've got this big mess over here. Again, it was so nice. They were all dividing it up. Like, oh yeah, Norway gets this bit. All that, by the way, there's a little bit of stuff in the center there. Yeah, Australia gets this bit, and then all that other stuff. But then you've got two really interesting things. First of all, Chile, the United Kingdom, and Argentina all have overlapping claims. So the red is the UK, orange is Chile, and green is Argentina, of course. As you can see, they overlap in really bizarre ways, and you get this one little wedge right here, which all of Chile, the United Kingdom, and Argentina own, even though it's Antarctica, even though no one lives there, even though there's nothing there, they all seem to claim it, which gives this really bizarre dispute. You know, more disputes between the UK and Argentina, just what we need, right? But yeah, with that said, we also have this bizarre section here where no one has claimed it at all. So that means if you wanted to start your own country, borrowing that international treaty on Antarctica, you could start it right over here. So yeah, that's pretty cool, right? But, you know, assuming that you want to live somewhere where you're not breaking an international treaty and where, you know, humans can live reliably, what should you do then? So let's move on from Antarctica to talk about some other places in the world where this happened, because I'd say the easiest example to talk about here probably has to be the one between Croatia and between Serbia, because basically Croatia and Serbia used to be part of the same country, and it meant that this didn't used to be a big deal until it did, because the Croatia-Serbia border, for the most part, takes place along the Danube River. So the Danube River is one I wanted to make a whole video on, because it's kind of an interesting river. It goes through so many countries in Europe, but yeah, it kind of defines the border between Croatia and Serbia, except not really, because here's the Danube right here, as you can see, quite a nice river, and here's the border, right? It's not really following that too well. So what went on here, and why is that such a mess? So long story short, Croatia and Serbia have a border dispute, but it's not just a border dispute where they both believe they claim they own land. It's a border dispute where they both have different versions of the border. And this means there are some parts of the land that Croatia believes they own that Serbia's in control of. There's parts of the land that Serbia believes they own that Croatia's in control of. And it means there's one very interesting section of land where neither country actually believes they have control, because they both want to believe their own sections. So yeah, if you look here, basically Croatia believes they have the old Danube. By the way, if you want to know why this happens, it's because Croatia's border follows the old Danube River, whereas the Serbia border believes the border should change as the river changes, which, in my opinion, just observer right here, probably seems a bit more logical, because right now Google Maps uses the Croatian version, and here's what it looks like. So as you can see, oh, we're going over there, oh, we're going over there. And yeah, basically a lot of changes they made to the Danube over time have made this a very, very confusing place, very border, and in reality, the control goes the way Serbia believes, where Serbia, owns everything on their side, and Croatia owns everything on their side. But it means that because Croatia believes, that this is Serbian, and Serbia believes that this is Croatian, and neither country has a claim to it, there is this little section over here called, it's called Saiga, I believe, and it's actually one person who went in there to claim it as Liber land, and yeah, it didn't go too well, because both countries said, oh, we're working this out, don't worry, it belongs to one of us. But yeah, this could have been a separate country that someone claimed, and to some extent, maybe it will be in the future. But yeah, this is the second piece of land on Earth that isn't claimed by anyone, and the reason is just weird politics scams. Again, countries like to define borders in particular ways. When they disagree, what are they going to do about it? Well, they're gonna both draw separate borders, and they're gonna have weird control zones. It gets really, really bizarre. But with that said, yeah, let's move on to the final place on Earth that isn't claimed by anyone, and it's the biggest one, because realistically, look at the size of this place. Like, there's some stuff going on there, and you can be like, well, that's kind of nice. I guess you could. You could start like a town there, but not much else. What if you wanted to start a country? Also, look at my face. Wait. You can like massively see the whole room change color on that. But anyway, let's focus on the map. So yeah, with that said, let's move to the final place. If you want to start a full country, there is a very massive stretch. I believe it's hundreds of miles, square miles big. Basically between the border between Egypt and Sudan. So the reason behind this one is that Egypt and Sudan both used to be colonial possessions of the UK, if I understand it correctly, and the UK decided, well, they're both ours, let's draw the border. And they drew a border that was very, very straight on the 22nd parallel. I don't know what that even means, but that's what this border here was, except both countries didn't really like that, because it kind of just disregards all the logic behind exactly, straight borders, the reason they don't exist naturally, if you look around the world, most borders a bit more of a mess than that. The reason for that, except Canada and US's border, which is so nice, by the way, I wish more countries could just do that. But yeah, basically the reason this isn't so common is because it ignores people, ignores structures, all that sort of stuff. And one of the interesting results of this is there's a big border dispute, because Egypt believes the old border should apply, and Sudan believes that, they have this new border of control, which means you get this really interesting place where this area right here is claimed by both, which is, it happens all around the world, but you also get this area right here where neither country believes to, claims to own it whatsoever, because, again, Egypt believes this is the line, and Sudan believes this is the line. Exactly why Sudan believes their line cuts that out, slightly beyond me. But yeah, basically there's this little stretch of desert right over here that no one on Earth claims. And it's very, very interesting, because this is a country that, although people have tried to claim, no one's actually gone there to do it. And the reason behind that is so vast. Basically, it's a desert. There's not much to do there. You can't even farm, so you have to get food in there. Except to get food in there, you need to have an airport, or you need to have infrastructure, like roads going to the other countries, except then you need to build through their countries, and you need support from them, all that sort of stuff. But then the second part is just not much much natural resources, there's not much anything here, and yeah, this is the final part of the world that isn't claimed by anyone, and that seriously could be at some point in the future. If they don't just, if Sudan and Egypt don't settle the dispute, or even if they do, and they both kind of get what they want, and, this has just ceded someone, this might still just be one of the very few unclaimed plots of land on Earth, and I think that's pretty cool if you ask me. So yeah, unclaimed land, no roads, no people. I should clarify, even this massive section here is just 1,000 people. 0 people live here. 0 anything is there. But maybe in the future, maybe maybe someone will build an airport, maybe someone will build a democratic government, and maybe they'll be recognized worldwide, and they'll be the newest country on Earth to claim land. I hope. But that's just today's Geography of Tolkien episode. I hope you did all enjoy it. If you did like it, then, it's the second channel. I don't care. Goodbye.